Hello and welcome to Serial at Midnight. I am Heath, and how is this for a change of scenery? Taking it to the outdoors. I've got reviews for you. This is a new release review video. Here's our stack of titles that we're going to be discussing. Let's kick it off with Night of the Animated Dead. This comes from Warner Brothers, so I need to let you know that Warner Brothers Home Entertainment provided me with a free copy of Night of the Animated Dead. The opinions expressed are my own. So I watched this. I have thoughts about this. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's an animated version of Night of the Living Dead. It's literally the same movie. It's the same screenplay. There's no new screenwriter. This is the original 1968 George Romero Night of the Living Dead screenplay. All the shot compositions, they've simply animated it and recast celebrity voices. Now, this is a very controversial release because, of course, Night of the Living Dead is revered. It's one of those movies that people love. It's one of those movies that the horror genre was, it's a huge horror movie, right? George Romero brings us Night of the Living Dead. It takes us to Dawn of the Dead, to Day of the Dead, to Return of the Living Dead. I mean, it's a very well-respected movie. So I was like, well, why, when this was announced, I was like, well, this is either going to be very cool, an interesting experiment, or it could go horribly wrong. And so I'm watching this movie and I'm like, the animation's not very good. Cause that's the hook, right? It's like, it's Night of the Living Dead, but it's animated. So I'm going to flip the box over and show you kind of this style. Like, this is not the animation. This is production art, or, like promotional art. This is the animation. And it's just not very good. And I'm also like, if you're going to keep the screenplay, you're going to keep all the shots. I mean, all the shots. It's the shots we already know. The zombies walking up to the house. There's the naked girl. You've got the bug on the tree. And the girl. All of it. It's all there. But now it's been animated. So, the animation needs to be really good. I was hoping for like Akira level animation or something like that, right? No, it's not. It's very, very, very crude animation, and that was disappointing. The celebrity voices, I should tell you, it's like the sun is coming out, so I have like dramatic lighting. I'll lean into it. There's my light. There's my dramatic lighting. The voices consist of Josh Duhamel from Transformers. Hey, I'm wearing my Transformers shirt too. Not in honor of Josh Duhamel, but you never know. Dule Hill from Psych, Catherine Isabel, James Rode Rodriguez, Katie Sackhoff, who I love, Will Sasso, Jimmy Simpson, Nancy Travis, Nima Fakara. But here's the thing. So I'm watching this and I'm like, well, the animation's not very good. It's also like stuttery, like someone reaches for something and it's like it's like it's not enough frames. But it's digital animation, so there should be enough frames. So I was like, well, that's not good either. So I'm like, why did they make this? What is the purpose of this existing? And I'm like, surely it's not just because Night of the Living Dead is a black and white movie, right? So I'm watching the behind the scenes. There's one extra special feature, making of animating the dead. I should also say they've punched up the violence. So now when someone gets a crowbar through the head, they really take joy in like showing all of it, right? So I'm watching the extras, and the director is like, well, we had a hard time finding just the right director. The producer said this. He's like, we had a hard time finding the director for this project. And he said, we went to a lot of people and we had a hard time finding exactly the right fit, which I take to mean nobody wanted to touch this, right? It's too revered of source material, so nobody wanted to touch it. So then they talked to the director, and he's like, well, we saw an opportunity in the original to redo something that was both color and animated. So that tells me right there, well, this is for people that won't watch a black and white movie, but that might be interested in the original story, which I don't know. I don't even know how I feel about that, but that's the target audience. That's who this is for, people that won't watch black and white and people that would prefer an animated movie to a live action movie. But here's the thing, it's rated R, so it's not something that kids are going to be able to come to. So I don't know. I mean, so I don't know. It wasn't for me. Honestly, it's not for me, but maybe for you. If you don't like black and white movies, if you don't like live action movies from the 60s or something like that, then maybe this is your gateway into the Romero verse. But for me, I was disappointed because I did not think the animation was good enough, and I did not think that, just why? Why keep the screenplay? Why just make the same movie again, but animated? When I told Brie about it, she was like, why would they do that? I was like, because it was black and white. I think that's as deep as it goes. Let's talk about Batwoman. This is season 2. This is now out on Blu-ray from Warner Brothers, and this is, this is kind of a controversial show for a lot of reasons. First and foremost, because they lost their Batwoman between season 1 and season 2. They had to completely recast because the actress that played Batwoman before, there was a kerfuffle behind the scenes, and they had to do a whole recasting thing. So they bring in a new actress, a whole new character, create a new character for this to move it forward. And there are very few instances that I can think of something like that happening before. I can think of, I'm thinking of Head of the Class. That's because I'm an 80s kid, I'm thinking of Head of the Class when Howard Hesseman left and they brought in Billy Connolly. Also, Valerie Harper. It's going to be the Valerie Harper show. No, yeah, it's the Valerie Harper. I think it was called the Valerie Harper show. Jason Bateman, and she wanted more money, and they ended up just firing her and bringing in Sandy Duncan, and it became the Hogan family. It's rare that you just recast. I mean, it happens from time to time, but that you would recast the title hero of a superhero show with a whole new character. Bold move. I like the Berlanti verse. I think I prefer the Berlanti verse, the TV verse, to the movies that are going on. But I'm gonna, what do you guys think about this? What do you think about Batgirl transitioning from what was the status quo of season 1 into a whole new, basically kind of a whole new show in season 2. I like the way that these shows tackle the lore of comics. Here's the thing. No superhero show is ever going to be able to do justice to what the comics can do. Comics can do them with no budgets. You don't have to worry about casting. I mean, infinite possibilities. You can do whatever you want to do. You're limited only by your imagination. The way that these shows have brought in things like Crisis, the Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline, the things with the Flash, it's running through all of the shows and connecting everything together, I think is bold. I like it. It has an upward, more noble, celebratory tone. I like that too, but not without controversy. But anyway, this is the second season. It has the high definition transfers, of course, digital. It's got some extras, villains analyzed, never alone, heroes and allies, deleted scenes, and a gag reel. Let me know what you think about these Berlanti shows in the comments below. This is very cool. We're jumping over to Lionsgate now. 3 from Hell. I don't know. Get the glare off of that. 3 from Hell. This is the new Steelbook. This is a Best Buy exclusive Steelbook from Lionsgate. The Rob Zombie film. This is sort of the wrapping up of the trilogy. It's kind of a loose trilogy. I don't think any of us knew it was going to be. I don't think Rob Zombie knew he was making a trilogy, but House of a Thousand Corpses, The Devil's Rejects, which is my favorite, and 3 from Hell now. All right, you guys want to see this? Hopefully the lighting does it justice. But this is so... Oh, there we go. Oh, working for just the right light. Here we go. Okay. Isn't that amazing? If you love these movies, I think you're going to think this is very cool. It's got the coffins on the back. I think it's just as sharp as it can be. So this does come with a digital code. This is the 4K. It's 4K, so we've got the movie on 4K. You've got the Blu-ray of the movie as well. It's going to have bonus features. It's got the 4-part documentary about the making of the movie. So there's the full art. Let me show you the inside. I hope that this shows up. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, that shows up reasonably well. Yeah. So only at Best Buy. This is a Best Buy exclusive. As I'm recording this video, it's going to be available around the same day. It's a Tuesday release. It's actually September 28th is the day this is coming out. That's a Tuesday, and it's near, if you're watching this in 2032, it doesn't matter. And this is probably, I don't know, maybe this is still available, but I think it's just as sharp as it can be. There's also a Steelbook, a Best Buy exclusive Steelbook coming for the movie 31, also from Rob Zombie. Let's talk about a few, let's talk about Twist. Twist is a twist on an old formula. This is Oliver Twist. For modern audiences, I guess it's got Michael Caine. It's Michael Caine. It's got Michael Caine. He's older now. You have to go deeper. It's got Michael Caine. I would like to be in the movie Twist. I would like to cash my checks and buy a new house with the money made from Twist. I'm looking around because I'm doing stupid voices in a park where people are walking. I'm sure they're like, is that Michael Caine? It also has Lena Headey. I've heard it pronounced both ways, but Game of Thrones, Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, amazing TV show that I think most of us know about. But anyway, it's Oliver Twist for a modern audience, really for a youth audience too. So like Dickens, like no kid's gonna read Dickens for fun. I don't know that adults are gonna read Dickens anymore either, but they've taken the premise of Oliver Twist and they've put it in modern day London. So now Oliver Twist is like this. He's a parkour enthusiast. So most of the movie he's just jumping for rooftops like he's in Assassin's Creed. It's really funny to me. He's also a graffiti artist. I mean, he's got his spray paint cans with him at all times. It's like, this ain't your daddy's twist. This aired in the UK on Sky in January of 2021. And it feels like big TV entertainment. I was disappointed. I came in expecting a lot of. The way they marketed this was that it was like a crime movie, and they really minimized that it was Oliver Twist. That it was like the orphan, the Artful Dodger. Please, sir, can I have some more? Like they didn't really talk about that when they were promoting this. They were like, it's a new crime movie starring Michael Caine and Lena Headey. And I was like, well, I would very much like to see that. But ultimately, it is a youth tale. It's a lot of people in their early 20s. Trying to find who they are, and it's got David Walliams from Little Britain in it. I mean, I like Little Britain. Mr. Twist, you're a naughty boy. Do 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 do. Write the theme tune, sing the theme tune. I really like him. I think he's funny, but I don't know. In the end, I just don't think this was for me. I think it's for young people. If they're gonna watch an Oliver Twist story, there's a lot of gender swaps in this too. Like characters that are historically male characters, they've made female. But you know what? The kids, they don't know, because like who would watch this? They're not going to know because they're not familiar with Charles Dickens, and the people who are familiar with Charles Dickens are not watching Twist. So it's a victimless crime at the end of the day. But I did want to point it out because I think it's interesting. That's just the world we live in now. This is the world we live in. Oh, Genesis called out. I guess now I need to critique Genesis so that's fair use. Genesis, great song. It applies to the world we live in today. This does have a special feature. The Artful Dodger twists underworld. It's got Rita Ora in it as well. I should say that. But ultimately, it's been a long time since I've seen a movie try so hard to be cool. Like it really feels like it's trying very hard. It's not a great thing. Nothing. No movie doesn't have to try because it's a lot of work to make a movie, but it really feels like it's trying to appeal to, like, look how cool we are. We jump from rooftops. Son. That's right. You think you're cool, right? But we're gonna spray paint the 2 fingers on the side of your van, mate. That's right. I don't know. Let's talk about Zola. Or at Zola. I've seen it both ways, so I really liked Zola. This is a riff on, it's an adaptation of a series of tweets that went viral. That's right, this is a movie based on tweets. But stay tuned, because it has things to say. So this was, Zola tweeted this story like 5 years ago, I think it was 2016, somewhere around there. It was 148 tweets, and it was this bizarre true story adventure about going to Florida to exotic dance. And just got attacked by a bug. Just goes to Florida. Now it's all based on a true story. They've made this movie. It stars Taylor Page, who's wonderful, just wonderful in this movie. Riley Keough, I think I'm pronouncing her name correctly. This is Elvis Presley's granddaughter. This is Lisa Marie Presley's daughter, and you can tell too. She's got the cheekbones. She did a good job too. So the premise of this movie is that exotic dancer. This exotic dancer comes into this exotic dancer's restaurant where she's waiting tables, and she's like, are you a dancer? And they're like, yep. And she's like, let's go to Florida and make some money. So they go to Florida, and it goes south real quick. Well, they literally go south because they're going to Florida, but then it goes sideways really quick. And there's like prostitution, and there's guns get involved, there's violence. I mean, it gets really, really crazy. And all this is based on tweets. This was one viral 148 tweet stream. Now, the director of this film, Janixa Bravo. I should also mention that Zola herself is one of the producers. She has a producing credit on this, so she's involved in this as well. But the director, Janixa Bravo, first of all, really like what she did here. It's shot on 16 millimeter film. That's amazing. Who shoots on 16 millimeter in 2020, which is when this was shot? That is in and of itself amazing. And of course that lends it a gritty, filmic, grainy, like really almost exploitation movie kind of a style. One could argue that this is an exploitation movie, but of course, with a twist. But there's a tone to it. And in the special features, there's an audio commentary with the director and the editor. There's the making of, deleted scenes with optional audio commentary. In the making of, the director was like, I wanted to speak to Zola's truth. I wanted to honor her power. All the things that the things that people say now. But the movie, I feel, has a very satirical tone. Now, she can't say, it would be very foolish to say, I made this movie as a satire, or I made this movie as a commentary on Twitter culture. But yet, I think it's there. It's just like, the people that made Joker, Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix, they're not going to say Joker is a satire of the superhero movie, but it is. So that's a whole other video. You put the art out there, you let people judge it for themselves. I think that this is both a celebration of this very bizarre story, but it's also a critique of our current social media climate. That's what I think. That's my read on the movie. But I highly recommend it if you're over 18. It's a very adult movie. But I had a lot of fun with it. I laughed really hard out loud multiple times. The way it's edited, the way it's cut, like it has a very distinct authorial tone where, a filmmaker can insert themselves into the film based on the way they cut, based on the shots that they choose. Somebody will say something stupid or somebody will say something funny, and then immediately they cut. And that's a voice, So, all right, I got two more things I want to talk to you guys about. These are two documentaries that come from Indie Pix Unlimited. Witkin and Witkin, which is a Mexican documentary about the Witkin twins and the universality of it all. This is a Costa Rican documentary. Witkin and Witkin is, again, haven't watched either one of these yet. Just wanted to tell you about them because they've just come in for review. Witkin and Witkin is a documentary about these two brothers. But who thinks of the Rick and Morty episode when they get the interdimensional cable, when you hear two brothers? I always, two brothers. One was an artist, one was a painter. It's Joel Peter Witkin, who is a world-famous photographer, and Jerome Witkin, a lifelong educator and a painter. It talks about how they're twins, they both go into the arts. It covers 5 years, how they diverge, how they come together, how their relationships change as they get older. Basically just a long-term look at two artists who are forever connected. And that's interesting, right? The universality of it all is a documentary that is about the role of people and how, I'm going to read this. So, told through the lens of the filmmaker's longtime friendship with his college roommate Imad, a Yemeni refugee, the director examines the subject of human migration, and how it relates to such varied topics as climate change, colonialism, neoliberalism, globalization, identity politics, fertility rates, wealth gaps, trade wars, terrorism, and the media. So it's one of those. It's really looking at, it's a sociological movie, right? And that's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but we do have a lot of people that I know for a fact that is their cup of tea. So for those of you who are interested, these two documentaries are available now from Indie Pix Unlimited. I think that's a good place to wrap it up. What do you guys think about this video? What do you think about the change of pace? What have you seen from this stack, or what do you plan to check out? I just want to continue that conversation in the comments below. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Take care. Until next time, here's where to go and what to do.